my pleasure to introduce Master Sergeant Retired Leah Sitzes. Mrs. Sitzes was born and raised in the Chicagoland area and graduated from Lincoln Way High School in 1994. Following graduation, she enlisted in the United States Air Force, serving at various bases, including Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico, Bowling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C., and the Pentagon. She spent the majority of her service as a career enlisted aviator with aircrew qualifications and flight time on multiple aircraft, including the C-37 Gulfstream 5, C-17 Globemaster, KC-10 Extender. She concluded her military career at Andrews Air Force Base, during which she was deployed to Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan. After 21 years of dedicated service, she retired from active duty in 2015. Among her distinguished awards are multiple Air Force Commendation Medals, the Aerial Achievement Medal, Air Force Achievement Medals, and Good Conduct Medals, as well as the National Defense Service Medal and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Upon retirement, Leah shifted her focus to family and education, finally pursuing her long-held dream of attending culinary school after a 20-year wait. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Culinary Management with honors from the Art Institute of San Antonio in 2020. In 2021, Leah relocated to Arcadia with her husband and 2 daughters. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Leah Sitzes.
Thank you for that introduction and for inviting me here today. I was asked to tell you what it means to be a veteran. And I don't know if I can relate to you all the joy or fear I experienced, or all the physical and mental challenges that were presented to me in the Air Force. I traveled all over the world, set foot on 5 of our 7 continents, with each assignment feeling like a different lifetime, and I feel like I lived more than a few in my 20 years of service. I'll cover 3 areas with you that maybe you can relate to: how I pursued success, freedom of speech, and my nightmares. Learning to pursue success, I started in basic training. I learned that my faith, my race, gender, or my culture were never factored into my military success. Every supervisor, mentor, and commander I had the honor of serving with, both good and bad, made one thing very clear: if you want the job, you have to be qualified for it. And my feelings were not qualifiers. If I needed more training, I got it. If I needed college credits, I earned them. If I needed more rank, I studied harder for the promotion test. When I was passed over for a promotion, or didn't get the job, or got turned down for an assignment, never did I assign blame to someone or something because I was female, or because of my race, or because of my culture or my faith. What I did do when things didn't go as expected is reorganize my goals, make the necessary lifestyle changes when called to, and then I tried again and again until I achieved success. After giving my best, and maybe that still wasn't enough to get what I wanted, I had to have the humility to accept that it's just not my time. Someone more qualified did get the job, and I needed to have a little more patience that the job was meant to be. The humility gained from those lessons learned and the failures became of way more value to me than my successes, because I learned more from them than I did from all the success I eventually succeed. They helped me set my sights higher, push myself a little harder, and my approach eventually became more streamlined and more focused. So the sooner you realize that your success is up to you, the sooner you will realize you won't let those who never tried or quit or to dissuade you from the success that you want to have for yourselves. As a result of this approach, I came to learn that everything I ever wanted was on the other side of my fear of failure. And once I let that go, nothing was in my way. And how do I know that approach worked? Because I got to retire at the age of 39, not having to work another day in my life if I didn't want to. And that's my version of success. The Air Force helped me every step of the way. Sometimes I hear people say, well, it must be nice to retire with you. It sure is. Now, onto our freedom of speech. Seems like a hot topic lately. And it seems like it's being used very cheaply these days. I know firsthand it's not easy hearing things that you don't agree with. Just keep in mind that when you do, it means our Constitution is working, and isn't that the whole point? Anyone who would seek to silence those they disagree with are the tyranny our forefathers warned us about. So be careful that when you are enjoying all this freedom, you do not become a tyrant that would seek to take it away. So I'll share a short story from my honor guard days in D.C., where my perspective on freedom of speech was challenged, to say the least. I'm in Arlington National Cemetery marching for a full honors funeral. When we get to gravesite, there's a religious group there that had decided to exercise their freedom of speech in a way that I hope most here would not do today. This particular group decided that protesting at the funerals of our fallen heroes was of value to them. Carrying signs that said, "Thank God for fallen soldiers." Yelling things at us while we were in formation that seemed to be born of pure hatred with zero remorse. Now I know this does not reflect what my Creator would have us do, but what I do know is the rage I felt for their absolutely despicable behavior almost blinded me. I'd never experienced such verbal violence in all my life. On the outside, the rage served to warm me right down to my toes. And on that cold day, I took comfort in that, and I found a reason to be thankful for them. And in that moment, I'm thankful for the military bearing instilled in me by my basic training and honor guard instructors. Their combined voices were crystal clear in my head. Remember your oath, lean on your training, keep your bearing. Fine. Don't lean into the physical violence their words were inspiring in me. Seems we are there for them too. So the protesters got respect where they gave none, and we gave our fallen hero a dignified and honorable funeral. The lesson I learned there was just because you can doesn't mean you should. Over the course of my career, I held on to that. It was unfortunately not the only time I was confronted with such behavior. I no longer get upset when I hear people speak from a place of fear or anger, because I can clearly see that none of those behaviors provides a positive resolution, and so are a waste of time. None who would dare speak to me or any other veteran that way are qualified to criticize those of us who have stood as their shield. And I learned to forgive them for their ignorance. Freedom of speech was a lot harder to support and defend than I thought it would be. So I'll wrap this up with one of my nightmares. Seems like a relatable topic since we all have them. And I'll share one on the lighter side of my PTSD instead of a terrifying one that might keep you up at night. So in this dream, it starts with me being back on active duty at my current age of 49, experienced a long list of ailments I now have, standing in my assigned aircraft, not wearing my uniform, but my latest fashion score from the Fredericktown Walmart. And I'm, of course, referring to my strawberry shortcake jogging pants and matching t-shirt. I'm wearing my kids' owl socks and my tremendously hideous therapeutic slides that I have to wear because my feet hurt all the time. And they don't seem to need a reason, just the memory of the endless marches in Arlington, the miles walked in my 4 years at the Pentagon, and the countless hours standing in my aircraft while working. So it's right about this time, when the horror of my appearance set in, that my flight engineer approaches me, and and his look of disappointment is palpable. He hands me a standard issue 9mm with spare magazine, and he tells me we're alert launching to the Middle East. Not sure for how long, and I have the first shift in pulling aircraft security. Great. My feet suddenly feel heavy, and I randomly wish for this lip balm I just made, because why add chapped lips to the list of things that I have to worry about? I very sarcastically say to the engineer, there's a long list of things I didn't bring with me today, and a holster is one of them. To which he very sarcastically replies, well, maybe you can shove it in the pocket of your strawberry shortcake pants. And secure the cabin, because we're about to take off. He rightly does not wait for me to respond and leaves to take his seat in the flight deck. And then I notice my stern-faced passenger is, of course, the new Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And I don't think he likes my outfit either. I am in a state of pure panic, my thoughts racing. It used to be better than this. Man, I really let myself go. It is in this state of pure panic and disappointment that I wake up in a cold sweat, heart racing, suddenly thankful not to be on an aircraft, and instead, safe in bed, next to my very handsome cowboy husband who is sound asleep, and one of our cats sleeping soundly at my feet. But a second run of panic sets in when I roll over and I feel something in my pocket. And my very first sleepy thought is, if it's a 9mm, I'm checking myself into the closest padded room I can find and getting on an aggressive regimen of ketamine treatments until I can regain some semblance of my lost sanity. Thankfully, it's my lip balm. And I have a quiet laugh at my own expense. I look at my phone and it's 0300 hours. And it's a time that I've become very familiar with, as it seems to be the time that my nightmares wake me for. I already know I'm not getting back to sleep anytime soon. So I get up, I put on my ugly therapeutic slides, grab my Carhartt hoodie and head for the door. My dogs follow because they already know this routine. I go outside to my front porch swing, take in the fresh air, and look up at the stars for a while, and I start praying. Heavenly Father, thank you for the struggle so I can value peace. Thank you for the pain so I don't feel numb to this life. Thank you for the darkness so I can see your light more clearly. And I wouldn't trade this night or this feeling for all the wealth and earthly possessions in the world. As a veteran, I am no longer fearful of the dark. I faced the terrors that dwell there, and I got my ass kicked. But I learned my best lessons because of it. Now I walk unhindered, unafraid, and I did it all because this country is worth it, because you are worth it. And we should never take being American for granted. If you want to thank a veteran, be an American that is worth the price of freedom. And don't take advantage of it. Too many have sacrificed and paid the highest price for us to enjoy where we are right now. I'd like to thank my family and my dear friends who made it here today. I'm eternally grateful for your continued love and support, and I don't have the words to fully describe my gratitude to you, and thank you doesn't seem to be enough, but it's all I have. To my husband, who couldn't be here today, it takes a strong man to love me. Thank you for being that man. To my loving, intelligent, and beautiful offspring, you are the reason Mommy still draws breath. Thank you for being awesome human beings. I can't wait to see what you do in this life. You are already so much more than I ever was at your age. And to anyone here that does not either encourage or support them in their journey, I would encourage you to stay out of their way, as they have a vengeful mother. Thank you for inviting me here today. It was an honor speaking with you. God bless.